Hello, and thank you for joining me. Wanted to jump on here this morning and talk about something that I've been sitting with very deeply for really the last 6 months and, really the last 20 years. But um, just the difference between knowing better and doing better. It's It's so frustrating. There are so many things that I know, I understand logically, I get it. I'm very, very intelligent. I get it. I don't apply it. And there are lots of reasons I'm finding that I don't apply it. Some of it, as I always said to my daughter when she was younger, begins with an L and ends with a Y. I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like it. I'm not creating enough energy for myself or enough focus to be able to make that thing happen, to face that thing, to move it forward, to change it, to hold the space for it to be born, to be realized. It's work to change, it's work to heal, it's work to notice, it's work, it's effort, but so is all the other crap. The holding it in, the pretending it's not there, the ignoring it, the carrying it around. Why do we think one is a lesser evil than the other, when the one that actually gets us feeling better is present, is there, and we have so many ways to practically apply feeling better, and we just don't. And I've done several videos over the last 7 days or so, and a lot of them have been about relating and the way we exchange energy and things like that. And, how do you relate in a healthy way without draining yourself? And, it's getting back to this understanding that we are energetic beings and we are exchanging energy. We are creating energy. We are doing all these things with energy that we're probably not even beginning to be aware of. And it's in moving into this place of awareness and realizing where our energy is going and how we focus it differently that is going to change everything. And so I I giggle as I say these things like they're so profound. 15 years ago, I started Crystal Clarity. It is based on this very principle that we are energetic beings and that everything is an energy exchange, and that we need to be aware of our own energy. And, 15 years ago, I got it logically. It made so much sense to me. And I could not wait to share it with the world. I could not wait to tell everybody about it. And 15 years later, I'm still mastering it. And I would care to guess that 15 years from now, I will still be tweaking the process in one way or another, because that's part of our experience here. We're always growing, evolving, and understanding. It's knowing that sometimes we go through things in life, and, in today's society, unfortunately, quite often we go through things in childhood and adolescence, early adulthood, and even throughout our adulthood, we go through things that stunt our growth, that keep us from seeing things clearly, that cause us to skip lessons, that when we don't learn them, we are at a deficit. And now is the time to begin to recognize where those deficits are. We're constantly focused on healing and what was our trauma and what deficits did that trauma cause? And how can we begin to look at those deficits, understanding that it's not that we're broken, but that we did not have the opportunity to embrace that information and to process it in a way that it became a part of us, a part of our programming. Think about it. In childhood, you are really learning all the things that carry you into pre-adolescence and adolescence. And so if you didn't learn those things, when you get to the next stage, you're at a deficit. And it continues forward until we stop and go, holy crap, what did I miss? It's time to go back and learn these things. I think there's a certain amount of fear there for us. What if I can't go back and learn them? I've lived my whole life not knowing how to do this or doing it wrong. I think there's a lot of judgment, a lot of guilt. There's a lot of things that stop us from being willing to look at these things. And I think that it's very, very important that we take some time to sit ourselves down and really look at that. I know that for myself, trauma caused me to not understand what belonged to me and what belonged to others. And my empathy was always very confusing for me. And, being taught that I should be constantly giving and focusing on the happiness of others and that my happiness was secondary. Those beliefs and those principles and that functioning has caused me a lot of deficit in my life. And so it's stopping and going, okay, well, there was a time in life where I had no control of these things. I was a child. I was whatever the situation. How is that different now? And how can I feel more secure in myself so that I can begin to apply these lessons and face the guilt, face the shame, and really hold it up to the light and ask ourselves, why am I holding on to this? How is this valuable? And how can I begin to use it in a way that is? And oftentimes it's just seeing why it's there, being able to accept what happened, and then feeling the feelings that are stuck around it, breathing into it, crying those tears we didn't cry, feeling the frustration that we didn't feel, expressing that frustration, whether that's through breathing techniques or body movement or screaming out that energy. It's all energy. And once it's been spent or processed or however you'd like to look at it, you feel different. But after you process the energy, it's very, very important that we go back to the heart and mind and really align it in this new space. We had all of this stuck energy that was based on beliefs and experiences. And if we don't really process it all and why we let it go and why we don't want to pick it back up, we just walk back out into the world, and our pre-programming starts looking for that stuff, and we just pull it right back in. And this is where conscious awareness becomes very, very important for us. And so, we've got a whole process here. It's having the information, understanding the information, wanting to and feeling comfortable and safe enough to apply the information, and then knowing what to do with all of the stuff that comes up through the application, and then paying attention to not do that same old thing again, but to practice this new energetic way of being, of thinking, of applying, of processing, and of bringing in something new and different. It's simple. I can give you a step-by-step way of doing it. I can tell you the work that I'm doing, but it doesn't feel very step-by-step because I don't know that this emotion's going to fly up, or that, I'm going to get this interruption going on, or that this trigger is going to be pulled. It's a very simple process. We just don't know what's going to come up in the process, and we don't always know how to navigate it along the way. And, it is a very individual, personal process. And yet, it is also very helpful to have some support along the way, and to feel like we're not alone, or that we're not the only ones who are confused, or who are excited about a certain thing, or who are really focused on something. There's such a delicate balance in all of this, and it's finding that balance for yourself. And it can feel heavy, it can feel so confusing, but it can also feel so liberating and so exciting. And remembering that it's just allowing ourselves to be open to feeling all of it, to trusting that we can navigate those feelings, that we can hold space, and that we're safe. Those of us especially who have survived trauma, or who have, for those of us who believe, past life stuff, or even generational wounds that we're carrying, it can be so confusing. And just taking the time to slow down and say, what is it that I'm needing right now? What does this energy inside me feel like? And where do I feel it? Can I envision it? Can I connect with it deeper? Can I become more conscious of where it's coming from? What are the beliefs around it? It's like a big mystery, or an exploration of going inside the mind and the heart and the body, and really just noticing and beginning to ask questions, to create space for answers to show up, to notice fear. It's a lot, and it's especially a lot when we're having to live day-to-day life. But what we find is the more we invest in ourselves and in our healing, the easier day-to-day life becomes, and the more focused we become. And in that, things start to take on a whole new trajectory, and things that were once hard become easier, and things that once took a week now take a day, or things that took a week sometimes even just take a few minutes now. And it's because we feel differently about ourselves and about those things. And because of that, the energy surrounding them is moving differently. And as we embrace that, we move differently, we feel differently, we emote differently. It's a process. It takes time. It's uncomfortable. It takes practice, dedication, discipline, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. A willingness to embrace the good and the bad. A willingness to be present in each moment and to accept things without huge expectations, without judgments, without needing a result. It's a lot. And that's okay. It's the experience. Breathe into it. Notice it. Participate. Get that resistance by the hands and go, what is this about? How can I move? Life is about movement. And when I'm not moving, I'm not well. How do I want to move? What am I trying to create? Where am I stuck? What helps? It's just a constant process. There's no beginning or end. It's just constantly participating in the process in a way that feels better. I wish I could give you a blueprint. I can only ask that you walk with me and hear what resonates and let it water the seeds within you. We're all finding our way. And sometimes being stuck and getting unstuck can be as simple as just not feeling like we're alone. And feeling like there is something on the other side of this place where I am. And so I deeply thank you for being here and witnessing this with me. Namaste.